You're listening to Best Forevers, a podcast for kindred spirits, a podcast that encourages you to love more on your friends and to further consider the issues that plague friendships. I'm Alysa Lucas, and I'm all about fandoms and pop culture, and you know this because I talk about them all the time on the podcast. I love them, especially when considering what they can do for friendships. I mean, all it takes is for me and my friend Ashley, who was in the episode Does and Blows, is to say, always. And we know what's up. It's like a Harry Potter friend love sentiment. And that's what this episode focuses on. Two friends, Anna and Elaura, who host Pop Prism Power podcast, where they talk about and analyze everything pop culture. We'll learn about their podcast and their pretty awesome friendship. It's got pop, prism, and power. So let's do this thing. Like Game of Thrones, friendship is coming. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're excited.
Well, so introduce yourselves and introduce your podcast for those who might not know who you are.
We're the ladies of the Pop Prism Power podcast.
Yay.
And I'm Anna. And what did I wrote this all down because I try to be a little bit organized.
No, I appreciate that. We can all use some organization in our life, right?
People keeps me organized. So I love guys in space. So I love science fiction and I love guys. So together, it's like the perfect relationship. That's me. But I love pop culture. I'm really big into comic books and reading and watching movies like science fiction, superheroes, all that, action movies. So anything pop culture, I'm in for it, and I love video games too, but I don't play them. I just like to read about them. So.
That's interesting.
Right now, I don't have the attention span to play a game for more than 20 minutes now. Like back in the day, I used to play for 6 hours, and now I'm like, 20 minutes, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
I just take a nap.
So you have played. It's not something where you're like, I just like to read about something that I've never experienced.
I used to be a huge gamer back in the day. Back in the 360 days, like Xbox 360, I had a clan, I had everything.
Yeah.
And then, I graduated college, and then I got a job, and I couldn't do that anymore. So what happened? So now I can afford the games, but I just don't have the time to play them now.
Yeah.
So, no.
So I'm Elaura. You didn't say what you do for a living, but I'm a business analyst, which sounds really boring. I just recently got married to my husband, who's hanging out somewhere.
Hey, husband.
We've got 2 cats, Buttons and Butterscotch, and 2 dogs, Sugar and Murdoch. And Murdoch is my corgi, who I'm absolutely obsessed with. He's a Pembroke cardigan mix, and we call him a tuxedo corgi because he's black and white. But I'm obsessed with corgis. I love shoujo anime. I love slice of life animes, which is a new thing for me because I hated them when I was growing up.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm into Harry Potter and Stardew Valley and just pop culture stuff in general. We go to the movies a lot, go see movies, and I'm not huge, like you said, I'm not huge into video games because I think you hit a certain age where you just can't binge them ancore.
Can't do it.
But Stardew Valley, I've done that a couple times.
Can you binge TV?
Yeah.
Okay, just check. Maybe that's like an age thing. You're like, okay, so I've upgraded from video games to Netflix. Like it's like a very important moment in life, right?
That's adulting.
Yeah, that is adulting at its best. Moving from video games to binge watching TV or movies. That is how you know you grew up.
Well, and I was adulting today. I watched about 4 hours of Frasier.
Nice. There you go.
Very old show, but still holds in some ways. So tell me about how you met. How did you become friends? What's your friendship origin story? And I always love to hear these.
Do you want to go or should I go?
You probably tell it more colorfully.
Okay. All right. I'll try. Let's see if I can.
More embellished.
Let me see if I can gather. Yeah. We met on a spaceship.
With Diego Luna.
And Gail Garcia Bernal. And we were...
I'm made of questions.
we sat across from each other in a cubicle.
Yeah, we sat kitty corner to each other in cubicles at this company that I still work at, Guild.
Yeah. And so when you first started, it was just kind of like, oh, hi, I'm Elaura, hi, Amanda, and that's it. Like, we just didn't really interact because we were in the same department, but in different subdivisions.
In different functions.
So then one day, I think it was past Halloween, because I remember you were sick.
I was super sick at Halloween.
You got better, and then one of those days that you're staying late, I think, we started talking, and Elaura mentioned how at her previous job, her cubicle was decorated with, like, a ton of Mass Effect stuff. And I was like, oh my god, this girl is, like, into games. What? This is so cool. You did not look like that
Well,
at all.
I might be all about outward expression, and at that point, I was still fairly new, so I didn't feel the okay to, like, put stuff up in my cubicle.
Yeah.
But my house and my cubes are always plastered with stuff.
Yeah. I like to have stuff in my area, and you're right, like, you can't come into my office and just be like, this is a true crime hub. Like, as a professor, you can't have students come in and be like, why do you have that Ted Bundy magnet?
An interesting conversation starter, though.
And it's funny you say that. Most of the stuff I have in my office is meant to be conversation starters. So if people are not comfortable in office hours, they can ask me different things. And y'all might enjoy this as animal lovers and people who've worked in cubicles, because I did that as well when I worked for the government. And you have nameplates, right? So I have one that sits on my desk, and instead of my name, it says, ask me about my cats.
Oh, that's adorable.
And so it's a joke, but there are some people who are like, how are your cats doing? I'm like, it's a joke, but thanks. Rooney and Ferguson are great. But so that's great. So you found that you could, once you expressed yourself, then you're able to find a similarity, right?
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, oh my god, we like the same things. We're best friends now. So I convinced you to watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I was talking to a coworker, and you overheard me say,
Always.
like, oh, I've never watched it. Like, I've never gotten into it. And then it became Anna's mission that I was going to get caught up before the next season. And we were, like, 3 seasons behind.
Yeah.
So then it started, the way we started really hanging out was we had a once-a-week Game of Thrones date night where she would bring the DVDs over to my house and be like, okay, we're watching this for the entire evening.
And I think it was on Tuesdays, too.
I think it was.
Yeah, so
Tuesday's like a thing for y'all.
Tuesdays is our day. So yeah, we just started hanging out, and you were always down to go to these things with me, and we just bonded over the stuff we liked, and life kind of happened, and I was no longer working there, but we still
kept in touch.
Yeah, and we hit a rough patch after I stopped working there because it was hard to
negotiate. It's hard to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we pushed through that, and then we're here now.
Yeah. Recording a podcast.
Hey! Well, when you said that you get together to watch Game of Thrones, it reminded me, have you seen the movie Sisters with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, so their frenemy in the movie is Maya Rudolph, and she is like, and I'm not saying this is you at all, like, she's like super controlling, but has Game of Thrones night, and it's wine and Game of Thrones, and it's like, what if we did something else? And it's like, no, it's Game of Thrones night.
Like, we have to do this.
Yeah.
That makes sense if in the trailer she's like yelling, winter is coming.
Now you get it.
I should be yelling that all the time.
I'll have to see if I can find the clip, and I'll send it to you. Maybe when this episode comes out too, I can use that to promote, right? Winter is coming from my Rudolph.
Winter is here.
Finally, after how many seasons?
Oh God, I know.
So are you all caught up? Are you looking forward to the final season?
Oh yeah.
I mean, what was it last month? Yeah. There was a Game of Thrones season 6 fan event, and we went to it in LA. So we got to sit on the Iron Throne.
Right.
That was pretty.
And the Dragonstone Throne.
Yes!
That was pretty cool.
That's
was,
exciting.
So cool. Like, we have to do this before the show ends. Like, obviously, I'm sure there's always going to be a Game of Thrones tour. But we have to do this tour. Like, and so that was a pretty fun experience. So we are definitely caught up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was cool. They played like the first couple of, the big episode that happened right in the middle. I don't know.
Spoiler. Yeah, I mean, no spoilers here because I'm actually not caught up. So I've been to all of the weddings, if that helps.
Oh God, weddings.
God. We'll get to the red wedding later.
Yeah, I've done the red wedding, what I like to call, or I think I've heard people call the purple wedding, Yeah. And I just did a gesture to them that, because podcasts are not visual, so that they understood without me spoiling. And I do know details because my favorite magazine, Entertainment Weekly, went ahead and put a spoiler on the cover, and I was like, a week later is not acceptable for a spoiler. Maybe in 10 years you can spoil that. I'd even go 5, but a week? I was like, no. So I know things that have happened, but I haven't actually been able to enjoy it, and I'm very disappointed about it. But I do want to get caught up for the final season, which I guess is
next year.
Oh, I have lots of time. Okay,
you have plenty of time. You have plenty of time
because they usually start around April. So, so let me ask you this. So, I love how you met, and I love that Diego Luna was there, who's one of my favorites, and that it was on the ship. And I'm assuming this is just something that you maybe created in your friendship, or that you are just, Anna, very imaginative with your storytelling, which
let's say her background on her phone rotates between Diego Luna.
It's Poe right now.
Poe.
That guy is. That guy is HAWT. Not even like hot spelled correctly. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in the last movie. I kind of felt like he just ran around and stood places, and I was like, well, I mean, I get to see him, but shouldn't he have more to do?
Well, it was like a lot of him getting scolded. Like, Poe, don't do the thing. I'm going to go do the thing.
I was okay with him doing that, but with his shirt off.
Star Wars world, if you could figure that out. I mean, stop going to cold places. I mean, honestly.
Can you just take your shirt off, please? Like, my God. Wait, did Dingle take off his shirt? No, he didn't. He's injustice in this world.
So, Anna, you're into guys in science fiction. Do you also have that interest, Elaura? Do you have, like... Yeah, I mean, I know we got a husband hanging around. Hi, husband. Is there at least a list that we are all aware of?
Yeah, I mean, is there a list? There's a list. There has to be a list, right?
Of your favorites.
Well, the Chris's.
All the Chris's.
Yeah, Chris Pratt, Chris Pine, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, which I can't forget him because he's Captain America.
Oh my God, how could you forget him? He's the love of your life.
I might have a collection of pop figures that is every Captain America from every movie that has come out.
I love those figures. I have mainly Walking Dead and Wizard of Oz and Buffy.
I'm very embarrassed. I have a collection of over
you should see her collection.
300 items.
We might
pictures or it didn't happen.
Yeah. I don't have enough space in this 2-bedroom apartment.
She needs a woman cave, so she'll get that soon enough.
Yeah. Now, so then on your list is definitely Diego Luna and Poe, Oscar
Isaac.
Yeah, who else is there?
Yeah, so.
And Gal Garcia Bernal.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I missed that from before, but obviously from E2 Mambo Tambin, right? That's where they came together to begin with.
They just have such a great friendship, and I just love them so much.
Hey, you know what? As a shout out to you, Anna, on Monday, because on Mondays on Twitter, I do Man Crush Monday. I'm going to put the two of them as a shout out for you.
Double! Yeah! It's a great package. You get them both. Oh my God, what else could you ask for?
I mean, literally nothing.
Just awesome. Two Latin lovers. Oh my God. That's an episode title right there.
Yeah. No, actually, I think it is an episode title that we've used.
Hot Guys in Space.
Hot Guys in Space, yeah.
I haven't listened to that, but it sounds like I need to set my playlist for tomorrow.
I think there's one, like 5 episodes ago, I just kept talking about how every single guy was hot. And you were like, okay, Anna, that's enough. We did it. But it's just, we just kept talking about really hot guys. So I'm going to point it.
Well, but I think it's part of pop culture, and I'm a huge fan of pop culture, and I'm not into all the same pop culture that y'all are into, but I think that I can appreciate fandoms and so on and so forth. Like, I love Harry Potter. I like The Walking Dead sometimes. I have feelings. Game of Thrones. Like, I get all of that. I've been to Comic-Con, not the San Diego one. Let's not get too excited. It was a Philly Comic-Con. And I met Norman Reedus, and I was like, oh, I felt like I was 12 years old talking to, like, the quarterback on the football team. I don't know.
God.
Actually, he would not fit that role at all. The bad boy with the motorcycle.
Oh, he is the bad boy with the motorcycle.
But, so, like, I appreciate that, and I know what it's like when you find a person that loves the same things that you do. And so, for example, I have a friend, Margot, and we both love Supernatural.
Yes.
And so, like, you have the Dean and Sam, and we both are Dean girls. And so, like, there's a connection there. And so, is that where your podcast built out of? Did you find that you were talking about these things anyway? Or did you feel like, I mean, what made you start the podcast?
I mean, that I joke, and I say this all the time, is that we literally just decided to start recording our everyday conversations.
But it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, because
we would have these.
Yeah, we had these super in-depth conversations, and it's not like we would have news articles up in front of us.
Yeah.
But we would send each other, we do Google Chat. Mm-hmm. So we'd chat each other at work like, oh my God, did you see that Joss Whedon just did this? Or, oh my God, did you see the news about this movie? And we would do it that way. And we kind of just decided to put it on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then vocally.
I think I tried to I tried to start something with another person who wanted to do a podcast, but then it didn't work out. There was some drama there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, I have the I want to do it.
Yeah.
And then I had someone else point out, like, well, why don't you do it with Elaura? And I'm like, oh yeah, we already had these conversations. And it's literally like I had to like pop the question, and I was so nervous. I was like, so like I want to like start a podcast, and do you like want to do it with me? And
I looked at her and I was like, well, duh. Like, yeah, I'll do it with you. And Anna's over here like sweating bullets.
I was so nervous. Yeah. Like I don't know. I could, if she would have said no, I would have been like, that's it. My life is over. Like, yeah, I can't do it with anyone. Like, I mean, I don't know what I was thinking trying to do with someone else. Like, I'm like, Elaura is the perfect person. I'm sure that's how her husband felt. Like, oh, Elaura is the perfect person.
This is a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to pop the question.
Well, I love 2 things about this. Well, I love one thing, and I think the other thing brings up a question. One, how many podcasters have had to pop the question to someone else? Right. And what are those stories? What a fun episode, or just like everyone, record your popping the question to a friend about being a podcaster. I think that's hilarious. But in a good way. Like, it's not like, I'm like, that's exactly what you're doing. And all of a sudden, at some point, it's going to be like people are getting gifts, and it's going to be like wine glasses that say, will you be my co-host? Will you know, like how they do for like brides? Like, will you be my bridesmaid?
I should have said that. I proposed in a Chick-fil-A restaurant.
You'll always have
romantic
chicken sandwich with pickles on it to remember. Exactly. That's what I always think of at Chick-fil-A. I'm like, they put pickles on that. It's good. We don't have one here where I live, but we have one like an hour away. So when I'm down there and let me sneak on over to the Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But what you were talking about also brings up a question for me about your friendship and the idea that trying to do the podcast with someone else now, does it seem like it didn't work out before, but does it seem like if she did say no, for example, not that you would have, Elaura, right? Like, I don't want you even to have that thought in your head, Anna, but like, do you think that it would have been possible to move forward with it? Or I guess my question is, can you imagine podcasting without each other?
No, absolutely not. Like, it would still be an idea because, like, when it was pointed out to me, like, it should be Laura, I'm like, oh, yeah, like, that's, like, who I want to do it with. I can't imagine myself, like, having a podcast with someone else.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
we have such great chemistry.
Yeah.
And,
as you, like, giggle through it, and you know people are friends when they, like, have giggle fits when you say certain things, like, I see that.
Her husband's in the next room. I don't want him to get jealous. Sorry, Eric.
He can listen to episodes 11 and 16, which deal with jealousy, romantic partners, and friendship. So if he's interested, or, you know, just earmuff it, right?
Just don't color your ears. So yeah, for me, no, I can't see myself having a podcast with someone else.
No. Yeah. Me either. Like, you keep me motivated to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that I would have taken the step to do it without you.
Because it's always fun to say, oh, let's start a podcast. But then, like, all right, well, we're starting on March.
Yeah.
Oh, we're coming up with our 1-year anniversry.
Oh, that's exciting. Congratulations. I would pop something for you, but all I got is this lip gloss, so pop.
Woo-hoo!
Cheers. I don't have any beverages. Wait, I have water. Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh,
yeah.
Cheers.
1 year anniversary. Clink, 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 clink. That's podcasting sound effects.
Yeah. That's how we do it.
Yes. Well, you said, you know, that you have a chemistry and she motivates you, right? What are some other qualities that you think make your podcast work?
We don't agree on everything.
Right. Usually if Anna loves it, I hate it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And you think that's a good thing? You know, as a friendship researcher, we often, you know, what we know in the research is birds of a feather flock together. So that means there's some similarities and that opposites attract, but disagreements can be problematic. But it's almost as if you are similar enough in your interests and then you can disagree about the topics. Is that sort of how it goes?
Yeah. Like, well,
we can have good conversations about the things that we disagree on too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always very civil, but it's nice because I don't know, I'm a little selfish about the things I like sometimes. And even though I want to share them with Anna, it's like I don't want you to watch it because I want it to stay mine.
And I'm like, I love this. You need to watch this. Like, go watch it now.
Yeah, remember, winter is coming. You need to get on Game of Thrones. So what are you sitting on that you are not sharing? Is this a moment of, like...
I share it with you, and I'm always like, oh, yeah, you should watch this. Don't actually watch it.
Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on Ice, and, like, half the anime I watch, because I know you'll never get to it.
True. I mean, she gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd really like this.
Okay,
You're never going to watch it.
No, I'm never going to watch it.
I just won't mention it again, and you'll forget.
Yeah. You seem to know each other really well. How long have you known each other? When was the cubicle ships with Diego Luna? When did that start? Sorry, I just keep going back to the first description of your friendship origin story.
You know, spaceship changed our lives.
I started in 2013, so
2013.
Yeah, so 5 years.
We became friends like right at close to the end of the year.
Yeah, so just over 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing because I think that a lot of times when you see people interact the way that you do, that you would assume that they've been friends forever, and that in 4 years, what's that?
Yeah, I think that's how it felt. Like when we met,
we've known each other forever, for ages, even though we had just met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we just had so many things in common, and like I don't know, it was natural. Like, we just kind of clicked. Like, one day, oh, you like Mass Effect? Oh my God, you like video games? All right. And then after that,
it was just on.
Just.
I'm over here watching, and it's like you start each other's sentences and you finish each other's sentences.
That's kind of just of our podcast.
Yeah. And it's amazing.
Oh, Eric, like, God. We just have really good chemistry.
And a lot of times that stuff is not, it can't be forced, it can't be faked, it can't be recreated in other situations. You either, in my opinion, you have it or you don't.
Right.
And so to have it and know that it was like immediate, and then that's why you feel like you've known each other for so long. And I think that's amazing. Now, when you were no longer at the place of business, you talked about there were, you know, maybe some drawbacks or some in terms of the friendship. And I imagine it was because the transitions between things, like where you see each other every single day. Like, I have a friend who I would see every single day, and she's in a different position now. And so I'm like, my mom's like, I haven't heard you mention her in a while. And I was like, actually, I just talked to her today. Thank you. but it is like a more concerted effort when the person isn't like, you're not, and I don't mean forced, because you probably enjoyed being at work together, but you are both in the same place because of contracts and that's your job. And now it's like life changes. So what would you say you did to sort of continue the friendship?
Well, we tried to keep up with our Tuesdays as much as we could. Mm-hmm. And then we realized there were more days in the week
than just Tuesday.
Is there? Because I feel like every day is either Monday or Tuesday. Like, right? Are there other days?
Like, well, we could do things on the weekend. Or
and it was like we were so used to being in this set schedule of it being every Tuesday. We kind of had to break out of that too. And like, if I was busy or something, we needed to make plans another day. We just had to adjust to that. And it was just a schedule adjustment. Mm-hmm. And getting used to not being locked into the same thing. Yeah, and I think, like, at a certain point, like, we both kind of had to, like, realize, all right, we're secure in our friendship. Yeah. Me more than Elaura at that point, but it was just like, all right, even if we don't talk or we don't see each other, it's okay. And we're still friends. Yeah. Like, even if I don't see you every day or once a week or once every other week, we're still friends. Exactly. Yeah. So it was just like a hurdle we had to.
Do you do a lot of do you message each other a lot?
Yeah. I think, what was it, 2 weeks ago when I was sick and we didn't talk for the whole day? Like, you had texted me and you're like, I didn't get to talk to you today, so hi. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm dead, so I'm sorry. Like, I've been like talking to you, but I haven't actually like texted you.
Yeah. A lot of Bitmojis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are always great. I love telling
that we're both alive. Yeah.
Do you just send? Isn't there an emoji with there's just X's for eyes, which essentially means like dead? You're like dead ?
Yes.
Usually on Fridays.
Yeah.
And Mondays. And
usually.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And Wednesdays. All those other days that you had forgotten about.
Except Saturday and Sunday. We're not dead on Saturday. We're alive.
So then would you say that, okay, so you've known each other for 5 years, and you had sort of an immediate chemistry once you knew sort of that you had these things in common. There's probably been a lot of experiences that have led to some stories. Do you have any Anna and Elaura approved stories? Any classics?
All right, you gotta tell the Pierce Brown one.
Oh yeah, so I hadn't read these books yet when we went to this signing, but one of our now favorite authors is Pierce Brown.
Okay.
And he wrote the Red Rising series.
Okay.
And Anna hit me up. She goes, I don't want to go to this thing by myself. Will you go to this book signing with me? I just need you to go with me. And he's actually really cute. So here's a picture of him. Here's an incentive. Like, come with me. And I went, okay. Like,
that would have got me there. I'm like, wait, what?
It's set in space, too.
Yes, hot guys in space. I'm telling you.
So we ended up going to this book signing, and we listened to him talk, and I'm like, okay, I guess I could read these books. This sounds interesting. Yeah. But we go to get in the signing line, and Anna starts going, I'm going to forget my name. And I went, no, you're not. You're going to be fine. You're going to get up there. It's written on the piece of paper in your book. It says Anna. And we get up to the desk where he was sitting, and he goes, hi, I'm Pierce. What's your name? And Anna goes, and she looks me dead in the eye, and I had to look at him and go, her name is Anna, and she would like you to sign this book for her. And he just starts cracking up, cracks the book open. Anna's just giggling, didn't know what to do with herself. He signs it, and then we move on. And that was it.
So you never actually got to talk to him?
She's met him more than once.
Because I see him every time at Comic-Con, and I always get in line for his book now. And, like, he knows me now well enough to know that I'm really not going to have a conversation with him.
She's just going to stand there and stare at his pretty blue eyes.
Yeah, and he'll be like, he'll try to be all cute and be, like, try to, like, push me to have a conversation. And I'm like, nope, you're not getting a conversation. So, like, I mean, not this time, but the last time at Comic-Con, he was just like, I know you're not going to talk. And, like, you know, he gave me, like, we take a picture together, he signs a book, he gives me a smile, and I just walk away, and I'm good with life. Because I just can't have a conversation with him. He's just too gorgeous, and he's, like, he just looks at you. Like, you're the only person.
He's got very piercing, beautiful blue eyes.
Like, and his name is Pierce?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Piercing blue eyes of Pierce Brown.
Yeah, but he like legitimately tries to have a conversation with you too. So he's a really nice guy. And it's just it's like meeting I want to say Daryl Dixon, and that's not his real name.
Yeah, I had like a whole plan. He was wearing a Detroit Tigers hat, and I'm from Michigan, and I was in Philly, and so it all started with like the, you know, hey, so nice Tigers hat. They're having a great season or whatever. And he's like, oh, I just bought this at an airport in Detroit. And I was like, awkward. And then I had my name on a sheet of paper, and he still spelled my name wrong. And I'm like, but I got there's some funny pictures with him, because I went with someone and she took pictures of me talking to him, because it's like 20 people behind us. They shut down the line, and we had just driven from New York. And so like we barely got in the line to see him. And that's why we went, right? Was to see him. And then he had to go to some other thing that we were not aware of. And so they wouldn't allow photos. And I would have preferred a photo with him than the signing, especially now that I look back and my name is spelled wrong. But so she took pictures of him, and I'm just like going, like just staring at him. And so like I tried to talk to him, and then I was like, oh, that didn't work. And then I did the giggle fit for like 5 minutes. So, you know, same. What you should do next time is write him a note.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I hate you. And giggle.
That's all you write on there. Giggle, 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 giggle.
Mwah.
I forgot, but he wrote the sweetest note to your mom in the Spanish version of the book.
Yeah.
What did he write?
He wrote to my love. Something like that. Yeah.
Like mi amor.
Mi amor. Yeah. So
that's nice.
He knows how to get to the moms. She's like, oh, look what he wrote me. And I'm like, yeah, I never get that. So whatever.
Yeah, what's up with that?
He loves me, but he loves my mom. It's okay. I'll get over it. Let's see, another memory. I wrote down your wedding.
My wedding?
Yeah, your wedding.
With your Game of Thrones speech?
Oh, God, yes!
Oh, was it as dramatic as the speech on Game of Thrones?
No, she said that our love was as strong as Valyrian steel, and everybody lost it. Eric is sitting there because Eric doesn't watch Game of Thrones, and he was like, haha, I don't get it. Like, and everybody is laughing. And I had to look at him and go, that's a good thing.
That was something I came up with right on the spot. So, you know, I just have great timing for these things. I couldn't have thought of that. But
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I gave a speech and I was so nervous. Oh my God. I had to write it down. I was just, oh my God. But I came up with the Game of Thrones thing, and that was like the best
It was
thing.
the hit.
It was the hit.
Is it recorded?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, we just don't have it back.
Oh, okay. One day it'll be out there.
I can't wait.
Right? Just going through that journey with Elaura, that was, she's getting married and
and so psychos come out of the woodwork when you get married just running.
Yeah, really though. And I was just happy. I just wanted to like help out and be there for her because, it's such a big day for her. And I just wanted my friend to have like the best day ever. And
and I think that really helped strengthen our friendship too, because I had a friend that I had asked to be in the wedding that ended up she was gunning for maid of honor, and I didn't pick maids of honor, or we didn't pick best men or anything like that. And she ended up in contention with Anna, and Anna the whole time was just like, I want this to be Elaura's wedding. It's about her. Yeah. And my other friend was like, no, I've done all of this stuff for you. It should be like, I should be maid of honor. And and so, but Anna just sat by and let this chick abuse the heck out of her until I found out about it after the fact.
Because I wasn't going to tell her. I'm like, I'll tell her after the wedding. If I get there.
That's a true friend. Snaps. Because then it's something that she doesn't have to worry about, right? It's like that way she can go on. And I imagine that not saying anything is something that you're strong enough to be able to do, to take some of that abuse, and you would do it because of her, right? And so
that definitely really did strengthen our friendship. Like, we were already strong because of the podcast, but then something we kind of just like leveled up because
all right, I think we got some nerds in the house.
we leveled up, we evolved. And just like it was like I didn't have to tell her I was going to be there for her, because she at the end of the day knew I was going to be there
like
for
we
her.
knew where we stood as friends. Meanwhile, I had a friend that was so what's the word I'm looking for? Not pushy, but so uncomfortable with our friendship, like insecure. Thank you. Insecure about our friendship, that the minute someone challenged her and what she was doing, because it was another friend that spoke up about something, she lost it. And then that's when Anna was like, well, by the way, she's not the only one that got blown up on. This is what's happened to me. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, we'll deal with this.
Yeah. And then I told this said person when we were at one point arguing, like, he was like, okay, you can do whatever you want, but I'm not going anywhere.
And she didn't like that.
Yeah, like,
needless to say,
I'll gladly step out of the wedding, but that's not going to hurt Elaura and I's friendship. So you can do whatever you want, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to still be here. You're still going to have to deal with me. So live with it. And
So warning to all the future brides, it
gets ugly.
Bridesmaidzilla.
Yeah.
Hey, I wonder, sometimes like doing these interviews, just so many ideas sparked, right? First one was popping the question to a co-host. And now it's like how friendships change through weddings. I think would be an interesting episode. And someone who studies envy and jealousy, that sounds like some of what's going on a very limited information that you provided. Like those sort of like competition and envy and jealousy certainly comes out of people, and knowing that can be really destructive. Good for you. Anna, you handled that really well.
Like, you stood up for yourself too. And that's why I was proud of you, because you actually stood your ground. And I feel like that was the first time that I've really seen you stand your ground like that.
Yeah. And
I did. I was like, bitch, you're not going to ruin this wedding? Sorry.
Well, but I think that if it's something where it's like, you might not on a daily basis stand up like that, knowing that when you do it, it's for someone who means a lot. I think that communicates even a stronger and louder message, right? That volume is not necessary because it's loud and clear, right? It's loud and clear. And
you don't mess with me, mess with my family, you don't mess with my dogs. I will go jump on you.
I was going to say, don't mess with the wolf pack.
Yeah.
They come as a unit, I imagine. But I'm also really excited, though, that you provided the title for this episode, which is going to be Leveled Up. And I will drop Winter is Coming somewhere in the description. So, but I think what you're talking about here sort of leads into, I don't know if when I finally sent you the questions, right, that I don't know if I'm going in the order, and so I hope that's okay. I just like to go how it naturally feels. But given sort of what we just talked about, this might be the hardest question or the easiest question, depending on how you look at it. And that is, what is it meant to be friends with each other, right? What does it mean for Elaura to have Anna as a friend? Anna, what does it mean to have Elaura as a friend?
Ooh, you go first.
Me go first?
Yeah. Oh.
So this is it's a little bit of backstory, but before my husband and I got together as a couple, I had been in a not so great relationship where, not saying there's anything wrong with online gaming, but literally I was with this person for 5 years, and we wouldn't go out, we wouldn't do things, we sat in the apartment, and I binge watched anime, and we played online games together and had no social life whatsoever.
Yeah.
So when Eric and I got together, I took a break from nerdy stuff, and we went to all these concerts and just went skateboarding and did all this other stuff other than nerdy things. And then when Anna and I met and we started talking about how I had all this nerdy stuff in my cubicle at my last job and stuff, you got me back into the stuff that I love in a way that was functioning. Because I don't consider myself functioning before. I had a job and everything, but I didn't lead a normal life. I didn't go out and do social things as a 21-year-old would have or should have been doing. So you got me back into my nerdy stuff, and that's something that I really appreciate, because it got me. I love this stuff. My bookshelf is filled with manga and anime stuff now. You hold the crazy back when you get with someone. I held the crazy back from Eric until I met Anna, and then it was like opening that closet door and all of this anime and nerd stuff fell out of the closet.
Whoa. Who's this girl?
Right. What did you do with her? But we talked about this already. Is you're a super reliable friend. I know I can totally be a flake sometimes. I'll call and be like, yeah, I'm not feeling what we were gonna do tonight, and she rolls with it. She's like, okay, that's fine. We'll do it again another night. So you're really reliable. We've gone through our ups and downs and everything. You've been there through everything, and you're just always there for me. You're my go-to. I can text you at any time, and you text me back, and you mean a lot to me.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm trying not to do. That happens really easy.
I don't get that much affection from Elaura, so I'm sorry. Just gonna hug the dog now. I think for me, Elaura is like I can go to you anytime and bounce off ideas, and not just the podcast, but what should I name the Instagram for my dogs, or should I name my blog that I want to start one day? And it's just she helps me see things from different angles. Every issue I have, or a problem or drama that I have with someone else, she's able to look at it from a different angle, from a different perspective, and it helps me be a better person, because I automatically want to be crazy, and then she's just well,
I play devil's advocate.
Maybe this person felt this way because of this, and it's oh, I forgot the other person has feelings.
Those exist.
What?
Days and feelings. Just we don't know how many they are. Do they exist?
I don't know. So it's just Elaura is you're you're like one of my closest friends, and you're like my rock. Like, I know if I'm having a tough day or a tough week, I can call you and you just listen and you don't judge me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
there's no place for judgment in our friendship.
Right on.
And you don't flip out on me if I text you and it doesn't sound pretty or something. It's like, it's just, I know that I can talk to her about everything and still have like a solid relationship at the end of the day. So it means a lot to me to have that one person who I can, be nerdy with and be crazy with and, still have a good solid foundation.
It doesn't sound like much could actually damage your relationship. Like, it seems like you can survive the strongest storms. You know?
If we can survive a bridesmaid villa, I think everything else is like a breeze. Like, I feel like we could conquer anything at this point. Like, I'm not scared of anything. Yeah. Like,
maybe that should be the title. Oh man, y'all are giving me lots of choices.
Everything from now on is like a smooth ride.
Yeah,
that's how I think.
And we can be honest with each other too. So if you're doing something that bugs me, I can tell you, and if I'm doing something that bugs you, you'll tell me. And like, if I hurt your feelings on accident or something, we have a conversation about it.
Yeah,
and it's not like you don't get automatically so butthurt that you don't want to talk about it. And same with me. We talk about it, and we're adults about it.
Yeah.
Does that help with the podcast? Do you think having that in your friendship, does that allow you to be able to do this podcast together more effectively?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because if at any point if something's not working, we're going to talk about it immediately. We're not going to wait like 6 months from now and be like,
let it just keep going.
By the way,
let it fester.
Yeah. So like, we were able to talk about it as it's happening, so we were able to fix it or stop it before it gets worse, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're just have a good communication line.
And as someone who studies and teaches communication, I tip my hat to you. Because some people don't communicate very well, and I think that is problematic for their relationships, and that's why I wanted to do not only the podcast, but why I teach and do research is because for me, it's always about everyone being able to be happy, healthy, and safe. And I think that means being able to be in the relationships that mean the most to us and be able to weather any storms and be able to cope with them. And it sounds like you just have a real grasp on who you two are together, who you are individually, and just that, to me, it doesn't sound like there's an end to this friendship, that we could do updates every year and you would still, here you are. Maybe there's more Chihuahuas. Maybe there's Murdoch is a famous corgi. I mean, there might be some other updates, but I feel like it's kind of like, on Catfish where they do the updates. And usually it's like people are like, well, no, we haven't talked to each other. But then you get the ones where they're together and you're like, they're still together. And that's what a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I feel like I could have this conversation with you and your relationship will have probably gone through more things, but it will still be just as strong. And that's amazing. So not only did you level up, but you might be like towards winning the game, right? Like, I don't know, like, maybe we can stay tuned for that.
We combated the bosses.
So was there anything else that you wanted to share with us about your friendship?
So Anna's mom speaks primarily in Spanish, and Anna invites me over to their house all the time. And your mom, she does. She speaks to me in English. She tries. I live in Southern California, and I know like un poquito bit of Spanish. Like, tiny bit. So I was over there and we're all sitting around the table and her mom starts talking to me. She forgot, just spoke to me in Spanish, but I got the gist of what she was saying. She was trying to offer me something. And I was just like, And your mom looked at Anna and then looked back at me and she goes, you don't know what I just said. And looks at me and I was like, but I got the gist.
And now my mom will talk to her in Spanish forever.
Just to see what happens. What will you agree to?
You really did get the...
Because she was trying to offer me a torta. But she was trying to ask me, I think, if I wanted it toasted or if I wanted something on it. And
you just said yes.
So I was like, yeah, I want that.
And I'm like, oh my God, what?
And she just stopped mid-sentence and was like, you don't speak Spanish.
Well,
my parents love me.
They do.
And you're trying.
She really does try. You know.
And that's what 90% of life is trying. So there you go.
Right?
No, I think the quota is 90% of life is showing up. And you've done that too. So there you go.
I was there.
So yeah, you were there.
So do you have anything upcoming that you wanted to share with the listeners, or how can they find you if they want to hear more about your disagreements over your anime and all the different things that you talk about?
And Fast and the Furious.
Oh, yes.
I love that. Love Fast and the Furious. One of my favorites.
See, thank you. She is like anti Fast and the Furious. So
I mean, Fast and the Furious 15.
Not yet.
I don't see. There's no end in sight, and I'm okay with that. My only thing is, you just have to be on board that Ludacris started out in the series as someone who bet on races and did things like that, and then now has turned into an expert hacker. And there's a loophole there. But I love Ludacris, so I'm like, I'm on board 1,000%. And I will be at Fast and the Furious 25 when I'm old and gray, and it's going to be like their kids doing stuff. I can't even.
God, I'm loving this.
Yeah. I mean.
Oh my God. Oh, I had a great Fast and the Furious idea.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I want to hear that. Like,
I think I said it in one of our earlier episodes, but okay. So like in one of the Fast and the Furious, like in the near future, they're going to be like racing Teslas, right? And they're like running out of like electricity. And they're like, oh no. So they're going to like somehow like charge the car while they're like racing down a highway, and it's gonna be like through a helicopter or something.
I don't know. Ludacris in the back on one of those pedal bikes.
He has to like power the car.
And then there's gonna be like a bridge, and they have to drive really fast to get over
I can't.
And the thing is, I don't know if they'd have Luda doing that. For some reason, I feel like Tyrese would be the one that they have on trying to generate energy.
Yeah. So he'll be the one doing all the grunt work to.
I mean, just imagine what they can do with the lack of electricity, trying to power up, and like something will happen where the electricity goes wrong, and it turns into some great special effects. Like, I mean, we should at the Fast and Furious and just let them know next movie is done.
It's like, yo, Vin Diesel, we got
it for you.
We got the next 5 movies set for you. Just go along with the idea.
Do you think Vin Diesel listened to us, or is more? I think The Rock is more, maybe got more of a listening ear. I don't know. Maybe we need a kid to tell him.
If I can get to Deepika Padukone, who can get to Vin Diesel, I think he'll listen.
But you have to get to Deepika first.
I can get to her. I just have to
she's like the Bollywood queen too, by the way. So she'll like throw these names in there. I'm like, what did you just say?
Yeah, I had no idea what just happened.
She's the main girl,
the hot girl.
The hot girl.
Yeah,
in the
she's gorgeous.
Triple X.
Yeah.
Triple X. Yeah. So if I can get to her, she'll get to Vin. It's easy. Done deal, guys. Done deal.
We can just start like a social media campaign for it too. We might need some storyboards. I don't know.
I think this is a great idea. We're going to be millionaires, guys.
The idea.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
And you'll have to love Fast and the Furious because they've made you buttload rich.
So if people want to hear your podcast and your ideas for future Fast and the Furious movies, how can they find you?
So we're on every podcast directory. Just, Pop Prism Power Podcast.
One word.
Pop Prism Power is one word podcast.
Second word.
Or we're on social media as well. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Pop Prism Power.
Yep.
If they want to know more about my crazy ideas, I'm on Twitter as well. It's at Karas, so KARAS_voltage, and that's where all my crazy ideas go. And, I forgot to plug our website, so they can find us at www.popprismpower.com.
Cool. That's easy, and I'll also put all of that in the show notes so they can find it in one spot and follow you everywhere they need to follow you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate it. It's really neat to hear about your friendship, and I've been continuing to do these interviews, and there's some themes of similarity, but then there's always something that's so different and unique, and you have that for sure. And so this has been an absolute pleasure, and maybe we just had to anticipate this conversation for, 5 weeks?
Come to those who wait.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, and have a good night. Bye.
I love when I get to interview friends who clearly belong together as friends. It was like they were born to be friends. It's clear. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it. Anna and Elaura bring each other so much joy, but their friendship is also super contagious. Their bond is strong, and they make you want to call your bestie immediately and say, "I love you, bestie. How can we level up our friendship?" I just sensed that they would be friends for a very long time just after talking to them for a little over an hour. So we'll definitely have to check back in with Anna and Elaura to see how things are going. If I could add another P to their podcast, it would be positive. There's so much positivity toward one another and how they handle things. For example, one thing I think we can all take away from them is the attitude that with the people we love the most, that we'll just be friends no matter what. So what can we do through this wind, rain, and straight up Game of Thrones winter storm? It's like as friends, we got this. We can save Princess Peach or whatever game you play, but Super Mario Brothers is about the one I remember. And I just love their friendship so much, and I'm so glad. Thank you, Anna and Elaura, for sharing your friendship with all of us. If you like what you have in your ear holes, there's a few things you can do. I'd love you to follow Best Forevers on social media. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Best Forevers Pod, and I'm at Dr. Alysa Lucas on Twitter. Social media is a great way to follow podcast updates and to get involved because I'm always posting gift games and questions and discussions and other articles and items related to friendship. So I look forward to us connecting online. If you care about friendships like I do and want to support Best Forevers, you might consider supporting the movement to love on our friends more on patreon.com/Best Forevers Pod. There's lots of cool perks and goals based on what you plan to pledge to the podcast each month. I would definitely check it out. I would love to call you friends with benefits. And trust me, there are benefits. There's cool swag and videos. In fact, there are at least 2 clips from this interview that I didn't include in the episode, so you can learn more about Anna and Elaura and some of their thoughts about their pets and Black Panther and Mindy Kaling and spirit animals and all sorts of good stuff that will only be found on Patreon. So you must be a patron to be able to hear and see these things. But definitely check it out, see what you're into. But there's lots of cool stuff coming up with my 1-year anniversary in September, including the buddy benches that will be moving forward. And there'll be lots of information about how you can help with that project. And also, much like hearing stories from Anna and Elaura, I want to hear your stories of friendship. Do you have a friendship that makes people want to level up? Do you have a friendship where it is contagious? Do you just have a story that's freaking hilarious? Or do you have a story that you're like, this is what can happen in friendship, and here's what I did about it? And we can sort of journey through some of the things that do happen that make us feel like we might not be able to be friends anymore. We need to focus on both celebrating friends and working through the issues that friendships experience. So if you have stories or you have questions, please send those to bestforeverspod@gmail.com. You can also go to the webpage, bestforeverspod/surveys, and fill out a survey for a topic that already exists. There's plenty of topics to choose from, and it's not so much a survey as it is a space for you to write. But no matter what, if you email me or you share something via those surveys on the webpage, I'll be sharing those in a future podcast episode. And I just love to hear what people have to say about friendship. Finally, thank you for listening to Best Forevers. I appreciate every single like, listen, follow, post, retweet, share, whatever the case is. Thank you so much for being a part of this friendship journey. This podcast journey, like I said, is coming to my 1-year anniversary. And it's so exciting to know that there are people out there like me who care so much about friendship. So thank you so, so much for listening. And if you feel so inclined, please subscribe, rate, and review Best Forevers. It's a great way to get the podcast out there so that other people can discover it. And if you enjoyed the podcast, feel free to share it with your friends. This week's promo is from the new podcast, My Worst Date. Y'all, I may focus on friendship, but I teach all about relationships, and this is not a podcast to miss. Besides, who do we tell all about our dating nightmares if not our friends? Okay, well, you're going to be telling Keegan, Christina, and Cassie, who talk about their worst dates on this podcast. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll find that you're not alone, and you might just find some new podcast friends in these ladies. Be sure to check them out, subscribe, rate, and review, and then send them your worst date stories. We all need to know that our worst dates aren't the actual worst. So until next time, friends, prepare yourself for friendship storms with a positive, we're always going to be friends attitude, because without our friends, who would we be?
Hi, I'm Keegan.
And I'm Cassie.
And I'm Christina.
Have you ever had a guy you're dating try and pick up your brother?
Have you ever been on a date where a guy showed up wearing the exact same outfit as you?
Have you ever been on a date where the guy sniffs you as a greeting?
If so, this just might be the podcast for you. Tune in to My Worst Date.
Because let's face it, misery loves company.